Okay, let's get into it. My 5.1 setup. This has been a difficult journey, a fair bit of learning, and a hardware purchase. So essentially I've now got my 5.1 setup complete, and I'd like to point out at this stage that all hardware, software and technology, I'm not sponsored or affiliated with any of them. I've bought them all with my own money over many years now, and I will put a list in the description below. But essentially I have Davinci Resolve Studio and Sound Blaster AE-5 Plus, and I'll get into why for that. And then I've got a really old 5.1 amp made by Yamaha, natural sound AV receiver from, like, I don't know, 10-15 years ago, but it's what I use, what the budget permits. So that's an RX-V 671, I believe it is. I'll just check. Yeah, that is correct. So the reason for this particular sound card is because of its configuration and ability to use the AISO. So that is important for the channel mapping, because what I've found with Davinci Studio and Fairlight is the automatic channel configuration, which I'll go through shortly, doesn't always work. And my old Sound Blaster, an Archon from many years back, Recon, sorry, it wasn't able to separate channels out through the optical input into my amp from sound card, because it didn't have the AISO capability. So I got this straight from Sound Blaster. I asked the team there, and the support team was spot on and really fast, and so I bought it direct through them rather than go somewhere else to buy it. Love their work, always loved their sound cards, really have been just awesome, just worked and been perfect for many years. So that's the reason for the sound card. So I'll just minimize that in a moment, but I'll show you the encoder. So I have the encoder set to Dolby Audio, and that's all I need for now. I don't have any of the profiles or equalizer enabled. For the playback, it's speakers, and that's in your standard 5.1, 24-bit, 44 kHz. And then in the sound settings here, as suggested by Sound Blaster themselves, you set it to speakers, to sound for your sound card, and that will do for the Windows setup. You will have to install the Dolby digital stuff for Windows. You can get that through the Microsoft Store. Just install that, and that'll be good enough. Well, it's good enough for me. I've found that works for me, and we're on Windows 11. So, getting into your project settings, I've just set up a simple Ultra HD one, 3840 by 2160. Nothing special, just your standard 4K. And if you go into Davinci Resolve and then Preferences, and then go into Video Audio I/O, this is the bit that I needed the sound card for. So essentially I need the ASIO engine rather than the system audio or the Fairlight accelerator, because I needed to tweak around the mappings for the channels and have it run direct. This does lock out other programs from using the audio, so if you've got Davinci Resolve open and you want to check a clip, say in Windows Media Player, it'll throw an error because I've essentially said just Davinci Resolve is the only thing that can use a sound card right now. So to preview things, I just set up a little folder and dump them in there. But let's get back to the important bit. Uncheck the automated speaker configuration. You need it set to the AISO. Set your device, and then for my monitor set, I've basically said it's going to be my main, and my main is my 5.1, so my format's 5.1. Now I'll give you a bunch of channels here with like unassigned in there. So what I found is previously the sounds weren't coming out of the right places, and I thought it would be a sequential numbering sequence like 1 through 6 in this configuration, which is not. I found that left is 1, right 2, center is 5, LFE 6, LFE being sub, and then left's around 3 and right's around 4, and those settings work for me. And I've not got any of the other fancy stuff enabled because I don't have the encoders for that. Nor the external rendering sources and all the rest. So that's the setup in that window. So if we go into Fairlight in a moment, so essentially what I've done is set up a default project. I've just generated a hexagonal glow and some cosmic rays from the effects panel, you know, cube array or whatever. I've just dumped something in there to get the timeline started, so that it recognizes that there's going to be tracks in there. So when we go into Fairlight, we have something to work with. So to begin with, the naming convention of my channels. So what I've done is, so if the driver fails or Davinci gets reset in some way, it's kind of log in what I've done and what I've changed to make this work, so I don't have to try and remember it again in 6 months time. So I've put the designation of the speaker first, then the mapping of the channels from preferences. So left is 1, right is 2, C, which is center, is going to be 5, LFE 6, and then left surround 3, right surround 4. And you can sort of just ignore the rest of these channels for now. In previous tutorials, I found a forum on Blackmagic. There was a YouTube video months ago now, so I'll try and remember the links. I'll find the links to them to help out. But essentially what they were saying was to set up the designation in the panel tools and the LFE, what you can do is select all of the 6 channels using the shift key. So select the first one, shift key, hold it down, select the last channel, and then right button click and then group them. And then with it being a 5.1 out, it should, in theory, given this order, that's important actually, put them into the right orientation, and your LFE, which is going to be A4, which is number 6, should have a blue bar underneath it. If it doesn't have a blue bar underneath it, then it's not properly set up, so you won't get your sub out. I think it sends the sub frequencies through one of the other channels, and then splits them out in some weird way. Don't fully know, don't quote me on that. But essentially, blue bar means it's got an LFE on it, and that's important. So we're just focusing on A1 to A6, which is the surround right now. So once they're grouped, ungroup them, and then it'll leave these all set. So you don't have to mess around, you don't have to go into each channel, pushing the panner across to each channel. So like putting the center, left to right, etc. And then manually assigning this LFE. So that's the basics. And what I do is I've got my 5.1 because I can. I have 5.1 going to my main output. I have two buses. I have the 5.1 bus and a stereo bus. So if I wanted, I could just have a stereo mixer over here. I'm trying to think ahead. So if I want to do a 5.1, I've got 5.1. And if I just want to do stereo, I've got stereo. And as I go through my projects and save, essentially means that I've got my 5.1 default set and I've got my stereo default set. And then you can just toggle through which bus you want to send to main. But for me, I can play it back in 5.1 because of my amp and the sound card. So I'm going to play it back in 5.1 and I guess compose, edit, master, whatever you want to call it, in 5.1. So that's the basics. Once all that's running, then you should get 5.1. It's like I say, this is just how I've got it set and how I've managed to get it to work for me. So each one of these is a mono channel, and that will go through as mono. I'll show you the difference in what happens if you put stereo in. But these 6 surround channels are all monos. I've not done anything funky with the mappings. I've not grouped things and then sent them into the channel or anything like that. These are just straight singular channels and then put into a 5.1 bus. The ordering, there's 2 different orderings. Can't remember fully what the 5.1 film is, but here the ordering for just your standard 5.1 is LR center, LFE, left surround, right surround. You must have them in that order. You can check your bus assignments up here, so you can have your bus formats. So I'm using 5.1 as the primary, as it were. We can change the color, so I'm just going to change that to green. As you can see, the panel there all changes green, and the stereo will be in blue. So we got bus 1 in green, bus 2 in blue, so you know what's what. What you'd normally see is stereo in the first slot there, but I've just changed. I'm running it as 5.1 first, and then stereo as a secondary. If you need to add the 5.1, you can just add a bus in there, give it a name, and then give it the designation. And so we want 5.1, not 5.1 film. That's the important thing as well. The ordering of the channels is different in film versus. So I'm just going to remove that channel for now because I'm not going to use it. So that's how that's all set up. The other little gotcha that I found was I wanted to push sounds around within the timeline, like keyframing something in a video. So as a demonstration, we've got this test mono track here. So when that plays back, you'll see, or should see, that it's in the center at the moment. So there's no movement there. So if we go back to the beginning and then we add this, click on the automations button here, what that does is it turns on automations for the entire sequence in the timeline here for sound. So when you're adding the automation in, to run any automation that has been recorded, you must have the automation on. The automations here, there's a settings panel that you can toggle in what you want to record in your automation. So I'm just recording the pan, but say I wanted to record a fader at the same time, then I could do. But I'm just focusing on the panner at the moment. So unlike the video clips, the audio is recording the automations to the channel and not to the clip. So like if you're doing an effect over a video or something, like some sort of keyframing or stabilization, usually in the video pane, it'll affect the video clip, and the I guess that part of it, that automation or keyframing, is then applied to the clip. In Fairlight, the automation is applied to the channel, and that channel affects the clips with it, the audio within that channel, if that makes sense. So you're not recording the automation against the sound, you're automating against the clip and the channel, and then the channel will then dictate what's happening with the clip. So for this one, I've selected pan and I've turned my automations on, and then I'm going to like test mono. It's just a little simple test channel that I've put in there, and then I'll go to A13 over here, which is test mono. So double click on the panner, and I've got automations on, and if I run that, we should see now that clip moves around. So the blue dot is the clip. The blue dot is the orientation of the clip within the sounds, the speakers. So to automate something like that is pretty simple. So if I take this clip, something weird with Davinci at the moment, like Control V does this weird bar thing. I'm not sure I like it. I'll get used to it. So we've got our new clip there. You can see there's nothing going on with it. There's no automation running. Oh, it's copied the automation over. So if we go, let's just remove that for ease. So I'm gonna pick a mono. I'm gonna pick the mono. Yeah, no automation there. There has been an update, so this may have changed from when I last looked at it. So we have our automation here. So I want to select my channel. Select channel. Yep. And to get that to automate, essentially what we've got to do is let's solo that, unmute it. There's a little automation symbol in the channel. Click that so it goes red. You can see all the reds will turn up in the panel view, and then that means you've got control over it. So the one thing that did catch me out is once you hit the spacebar, it'll start recording the automation that you're inputting to it. When you stop playback, it will then shut off the recording of the automation. So this little symbol here will go back to grey. You can't just simply pause it and then do something drastic with the sound. You have to do it in sort of a fluid manner. It'd probably help if I had a big control board, but hey, yeah, I can wish for that. So if I take it back at a 3D view, I don't want to record this in automation. I just want to throw a sound in a circle like the other one. So let's say I want to do it in the opposite direction, so counterclockwise or something like that. Click the automation record, and I've got my timeline in the right position from where I want to start this automation. Hit the space bar, grab the blue dot. Whoop. Yep, it's clicked off there, so try that again. And it's playing giddy kippers with me. So let's just go top down view. So it should be automating that. So we should have that. And it'll be rotate. So for some it's having a moment. Let's try that again. There we go. So that will have recorded that automation. Essentially, I didn't click on this channel. It sometimes messes up or just has a little moment. So when you click the record, it cancels out of the automation for some reason. Don't know if it's a bug or it's just user error. So I'll just put that into there. And then if we play back, you can see that the sound is now moving around in the space. And I don't know whether you can hear it or not, but essentially what it's doing for me in my playback is moving around each speaker individually, which is kind of cool. So you can do a similar thing with the automation, and I'll just go into that now. So I'm going to solo this one because this is I've already done this, but it's nice to see. So what I've done is exactly the same as before. I'm basically just throwing the sound around in a circle, nothing fancy, but this is with a stereo channel. So let's go into there. We've got the left and right, which are the green dots, and then the blue dot is the position within your space. So the cool thing about this is when you do rotate the sounds in stereo, it will keep the distance. So you can have things like the spread. So it really is having a moment with a click event at the moment. So it might be because this is already automated. I always take the automation off. But the stereo here, you can narrow the width of the stereo, so you can bring it closer to center from the outside of the room, and that's really kind of cool. So if I turn the automation on, go back to view it, we'll see that the sound moves around. So at this point here, you can see that the left has gone through the center speaker and gone to right, and the right speaker sound has gone to the rear speaker there. So it's really kind of cool. I'm still looking into this, still figuring out what I want to do with it, and how I can use the sounds and the space around to get some really cool effects. And the other cool thing that I noticed, if I solo this one, what I was doing here was playing around with the movements within the 3D space. So I wanted it to go from the front and up and over. So I've automated how that would pass by me. And then this one, as you can see, it goes up from the floor upwards. It's kind of like I've just picked a random sound there, but essentially I'm just playing around with a stereo to see if I can get something cool, like a jet fighter flying across in stereo. So you kind of get the reverberation from left and right as it flies over your head, kind of things like that. So yeah, sorry for the rambles. I'm hoping it's been insightful. Well, that's how I'm tackling this 5.1 and getting to grips with it. But Davinci Resolve Studio is a flipping powerful thing. It's actually really quite cool. If I get the chance or find a space to put it, I will put the audio up somewhere, just to as an MP3, just so if somebody does have a 5.1 system, then they could see if it plays back. I believe in the spec for the 5.1 audio within YouTube, the web browser won't play it back as a 5.1, but if it's YouTube within like a smart TV or something like that, then it will attempt the 5.1 playback. Other than that, it'll do a mix down to stereo. So that's one to watch. So don't expect the browser to be playing back 5.1 essentially. But if someone's watching YouTube on, say, TV or a smart device or something like that that has 5.1 enabled and it's not a web browser that you're playing back in, then YouTube will attempt the 5.1 for you, which is awesome. So yeah, give it a go. If you've got any questions, do ask them, and perhaps I can learn a bit more and pass my information across. Cheers all.